Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bellmeyer. I am the President and CEO of the Orange County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us today. We are joined by Pete Oates, who is the Equilibrium Brewery's co-founder and brewmaster. Pete, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Heather. Thanks for having me. Hello, everybody.
I understand you got quite a busy day today.
So it's pretty exciting for us. After almost 15 months being closed down for the pandemic, we just opened our tap room for lunch for the first time and hopefully for the last time. And we're going to keep going every day of the week for the perpetual future. So it's exciting to build out the space.
Looking forward to coming over for lunch this week. That's awesome.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Please come over.
You know, Pete, let's back up a little bit, though. Would you please tell our viewers about the history of Equilibrium Brewery?
Sure. The history kind of starts back at MIT, where I was getting my doctorate in water chemistry, and my co-founder was also an environmental engineer. And we were studying how to take bad stuff out of water using sort of various scientific methods. And we were both in love with beer, and he said, "You want to start a brewery?" And I said, "Sure." And the idea is we could use all our water science knowledge to, instead of take bad stuff out, we put good stuff in, and that's how you make really good beer. So we started Equilibrium over at Henry Street in Middletown with the support of some wonderful folks. And we were kind of met with sort of overwhelming demand, I think, because of a lot of the quality we put in the product, where we would have releases and there'd be like lines around the block, but we never had our own tap room. And so we ended up building out this facility to have a beer garden and also putting some of my own personal passion of Texas style barbecue. So we did that, built out this place. And, you know, we were thrown a little bit of a curveball by the pandemic, but I think we're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel here. So we're back open and looking forward to having everybody come by and see the new space and try some of the beer and the barbecue.
I have to say, I was there during the pandemic as you guys were building out, and it was some production, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
So again, we are looking forward to coming by this inaugural week for our lunch. Let's think about what was your why? So you kind of touched on that a little bit, but there's a little bit more to the story I think you'd like to share.
So the why was sort of very simple and organic, that myself and a bunch of my family and friends were part of the beer community, and we really fell in love with the culture and the community and the experience that we had on the other side of businesses, going to different breweries and releases. And we met some amazing people, and we kind of said, you know, we want to be able to create this kind of experience for the people of Middletown and the surrounding counties to be able to come sort of enjoy what it's like to have a sort of an excuse to get together with family and friends and meet new friends and build out the community. And also we kind of saw in other places, particularly in Vermont, like what an influence a brewery could have on the local community and what good things it could do for everybody in the community. So that was kind of the why, is we wanted to create community and experience.
That's great. Pete, you brew on site. But you also sell off premise. So what does your off premise distribution look like? Tell us about that.
So we were before we had this new facility at South Street. Our business model was basically myself and our head brewer. We would come up with whatever we wanted. We put it into a can, and hundreds of people would line up on Saturday and buy it all out. So there was very little kind of sales dimension to that. And now with our increased production, trying to meet the demand of people just wanting to try our beer, there's been a shift in the laws because of COVID, where you're allowed to put beer in boxes and send them to people's houses, because the business model of having, you know, lines of people around the block is not as safe as it used to be. So they changed the state laws that allow us to ship directly to people's houses. And we also have enough volume now where we can supply some of the retail stores. So you can find Equilibrium in some of the local beer stores as well. And so I think we're in about 13 states right now where you can ship stuff right to people's houses.
Oh, wonderful. You want to tell us what those states are?
Mostly the Northeast.
Okay.
Tennessee, down there, Virginia. I'll mess them up if I try to rattle them all off.
No, that's good though. So we at least know that they're local, in the Hudson Valley or, close by, and we can share it with our families and friends. That's great.
Yeah.
Just want to mention that Dave Mistrada has joined us. He's new to Facebook, and this is his first Facebook Live event. So thank you for joining us, Dave. He loves you guys. He thinks that you have the best beer around. All right. So when I was with Heineken, they made sure that we knew all of the ingredients. We knew the entire brewing process. This super secret spy stuff that, we had to know as employees. Yeah. Even more importantly, they had a special, I'm going to mess up the title. We'll say Brewmaster. But this gentleman went all over the world teaching employees of Heineken how to pour the perfect beer. And there was a different pour for each of our beers in our flagship line. So tell me about being a brewmaster.
So, I don't have formal training as a brewmaster other than being at MIT for 8 years learning science, which maps into beer quite easily. And so we were able to develop a lot of our own proprietary techniques. EQ juice is a big special equation that pretty much only I understand, and how to implement in the brewery, the brewers understand, but it's developing and refining those processes to kind of hit that flavor profile, and that we call it rainbow melon is a flavor that we pull from our process very specifically. Mm-hmm. And so it was really cool to have all this science background to help develop our beers. But for example, when the pandemic started, I was in Australia hand selecting our Galaxy hops, which only comes from Australia. And so there's this whole other side of you have to be able to choose your own ingredients, and then you have to understand how your ingredients are when you're able to choose them, and then how they propagate through your process. And at the end of the day, what matters is how does it end up in someone's glass, and then how does that glass of beer make people feel, and how does they experience? And trying to understand human emotion is really complex, right? And so it's does beer make people feel good? Do they want to hang out with other people and have the experience we're curating? And they don't think about any of that stuff, but that's my job. So I have to get 40, 50 details right, and the entire company, everybody working here has to get all those details right. And then people go, I feel good. That was a great beer. I want to share this with my friends. I want to go host a barbecue now when I wasn't going to host a barbecue. And so it's a lot of behind the scenes kind of detail work, I'd say, to get that perfect glass of beer, to create that experience for people.
I can relate. Is that a brewing vat behind you?
Yeah. You want to see something neat?
Wow. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize there was that much brewing going on there. Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. So that's the brewery behind us. That's
now, is that a private room that you're in? Is that something that you can rent out to guests?
This is an old employee kitchen. And so this was meant to sort of be a private room, and it turned into our Zoom room because, we've been closed for 15 months up until today.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to let you get back to your guests. I'm sure you have a lot going on downstairs. But before we go, I understand that you're extremely philanthropic, and you keep talking about community. So, you're philanthropic to the community at large. Would you like to share any of that with any of our viewers about your philanthropic missions?
Sure. And I think this is stuff that just kind of happened organically. We've had, a lot of curveballs thrown at us through the pandemic from before the pandemic. One of our employees' houses burned down. Part of our beer community got sort of brain cancer. A woman got run over by a car. There's just been various things we've done, and we've been able to use kind of the market demand of our beer to raffle off special items to get people here to donate some of their own special beers from all over the world, and then use the proceeds from those that we match as a company as well to try to help people in our community that are in need. And I think that was one of the original part of the whys of if you have a good brewery, you can actually influence the community around you to help, which is really cool. And I hope as we're now open on site, we can sort of do that a bit more now that we're able to see other humans in person.
That's great. Pete, I thank you so much. And thank you for allowing us to continue to support your business. And
thank you.
everybody can see how to get in touch with Equilibrium, but I highly suggest that you get over there and check it out. Lunch, dinner, 7 days a week. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, Heather.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Okay. And thank you to all of our viewers, to all of our members, to our board of directors, our ambassadors, and to our corporate partners that allow us to continue to support the mission of the Chamber. Have a great day. We look forward to seeing you soon.